Yeah, welcome to another edition of the Small Business Podcast for entrepreneurs, whiz-bang entrepreneurs, workaholic professionals, and small business owners. I'm Paul Finkelstein, and here's my entrepreneur message for you. I don't know if you consider yourself an entrepreneur or a small business owner, just a workaholic professional. If you're perhaps a workaholic professional, perhaps maybe rethink that you might be considered, you might want to call yourself an entrepreneur, but if you're a workaholic, maybe you're after something more. I'm curious, what's on your weekend reading list? My last podcast, I was talking about spark. If you have spark in chemistry from one of the other small business partners, because by coming regularly to a weekly entrepreneur early bird meeting on Saturday morning, or just tuning into my podcast perhaps and connecting with me on Alignable or Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. If it helps bring you spark or chemistry and how we can network together and to be actual business partners, whether we're in the same business or not, but like being business partners is chemistry where we could refer business to each other. But if you don't have spark, perhaps maybe you're the spark, and perhaps what can 3 hours a week do for you? And I suggest that 3 hours a week can help you inspire yourself so you can be the spark of your business and your lifestyle. I mean, life's short. Life's just a flicker, and then, may not be dying today, right now. But eventually, everyone's to die. It's not today, right? I hope. But that being said, we got some great books. This guy, Bill O'Render, Locker Room Notes. I'm reading this book. Then this book I read so much, the front cover fell off. You might have heard of this book. It's one of my favorites. This book here is called 4-Hour Body by Tim Ferriss. He actually wrote a book called The 4-Hour Workweek. Interesting how it's a 4-hour body, yet it's this thick. It's going to take you more than 4 hours to read this. So I think he's got something up his mind. I just told somebody about this book to read over at the Olive Garden today. Wealth on the Beach by Daniel Alonzo. Here it's another great book, and I'm just reading some trade publications. So perhaps maybe 3 hours a week, what could that do and generate business for you? Perhaps maybe it will get the spark back in you. If you don't read, well, I kind of think it's all chalked up to laziness, maybe perhaps mediocrity, because if you're not listening to somebody else through a book or a podcast, I think a podcast is more like, come say hello, Lucky. Meet Lucky. He's the dog entrepreneur wizard of our team. This is Lucky. Isn't he just adorable? So thanks for tuning in to Small Business Owners Podcast, whiz-bang entrepreneurs, and workaholic professionals. So I'd love to hear what your favorite book is, whether it's Think and Grow Rich, whether it's book Locker Room Book by Bill O'Render or Timothy Ferriss. What will generate the spark in you? Perhaps maybe there's another entrepreneur that inspires you. And perhaps maybe you're thinking about becoming an entrepreneur. I mean, you like having a boss? Maybe you don't want all the responsibilities of a business. I mean, maybe you don't want to do the sales aspect. If you're looking for a system and get out of the sales aspect, there are programs to help deal with that as well. If you want to network with us at Early Bird Entrepreneurs, it's totally free on Saturdays between 8 and 9 a.m. on a Saturday. Just check out the reservation link. You'll see a hog there. Really nice. Pigs. It stands for nothing. It just stands for don't hog the time and help build people's wealth. What I mean by don't hog the time, how many times you go with other networking groups and the facilitators don't control the time in a meeting and the meeting goes by People allow to overuse their gums and they just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and it's not fair, right? If somebody gets 6 minutes and somebody gets 30 seconds. If you show up late, that's a different story. So that's my message for you today. Why don't you check it out at omgtalk.com. That's omgtalk.com. It stands for online meet and greet or offline meet and greet. So do you want to meet online or do you want to meet offline? Thanks so much for joining me. Let's just put Lucky here for just a second while I go off the air.